Major progress was made Monday on a wildfire in northern Riley and Pottawatomie counties that has scorched thousands of acres and destroyed at least one home. Fire officials from Kansas Forest Service, Riley County Fire District Number 1, and Pottawatomie County Fire held a joint news conference Monday where it was noted the Birkeland accident fire was about 80% contained. Among those speaking was Kansas Forest Service State Fire Management Officer Bill Wan.
On this particular fire, we had 3 fixed-wing aircraft and 3 rotor-wing aircraft assisting with suppression efforts and reconnaissance.
The Kansas National Guard deployed Black Hawk helicopters to assist those efforts in coordination with KFS and the Kansas Department of Emergency Management. Wan says attacking the fire from above helped firefighters make immense progress toward containment.
Very effective tool. It's a very effective tool. At minimum, it slows it down a little bit. It allows us to get ahead of the fire, to evacuate communities, as well as establish some contingency lines. So it's a very effective tool when it's used right.
Additionally, a temporary flight restriction was issued over the area this past weekend.
And that really just helps us manage the fire safely. It also keeps drones out. Drones use by private and even public drones are very dangerous to our aircraft, as you can imagine, because they're coming in at low levels, and to impact the drone is very dangerous. And so we always making sure that we control the airspace before we launch an aircraft.
Officials evacuated about 24 homes in the area Sunday, but say no other homes are currently being threatened. It's been a busy few days for Geary County and Junction City fire officials. On Monday, a house was destroyed by fire in the 13,000 block of Lower McDowell Creek Road. A couple living in that home were able to get out safely along with one of their dogs, but officials say one animal died in the fire. The house was fully engulfed when firefighters arrived on scene. The state fire marshal's office has been called in to assist with an investigation into the cause. A damage estimate wasn't immediately provided. On Friday, Junction City fire crews responded to fire at 2 large storage buildings on Grant Avenue, which also included a mobile home that became fully engulfed with limited water supply. Authorities say multiple explosions were due to LP gas containers. No injuries were reported with that blaze. Geary County and Grandview Plaza Fire also assisted. Citizens flocked to the Flint Hills Discovery Center Monday to view the solar eclipse. A full eclipse of the sun was visible across some states in the Midwest, including 85% coverage here in Manhattan. Flint Hills Discovery Center Curator of Education Sally Dreer says they were thankful to have the event because previous ones had been obstructed.
So in 2017, they actually did some events here for that eclipse, and they traveled into the path of totality and unfortunately got a lot of cloud coverage. So we did the annular eclipse in October and unfortunately had too much cloud coverage, but were able to streamline.
The Discovery Center welcomed amateur astronomer Steve Johannes, who partnered with them by bringing microscopes and lenses to help residents get a closer look at the eclipse. He says he was grateful for this opportunity.
It's really nice that the Discovery Center hosts something like this to give everyone an opportunity to see this kind of event.
The Discovery Center also hosted an event beforehand with glasses donated by the Manhattan Public Library and other local organizations. Other viewing parties around the city yesterday included at local schools, the Manhattan Public Library, and Sunset Zoo. The Riley County Police Department is investigating after a scammer recently conned a retail store employee out of over $1,400. A report for theft by deception was filed Friday morning listing Hy-Vee as the victim. Police say a store lead was reportedly deceived into sending Bitcoin to an unknown person who was posing as the store's manager. Police also noted later in the day on Friday a report at the Walmart store for aggravated assault and criminal damage to property. According to a police investigation, a 43-year-old woman and 19-year-old man were both victims after a group of minors known to one of them approached the man and brandished a knife at him. The victim went into the store to avoid the situation, later found 2 of his tires slashed on his vehicle. The total loss associated is around $300. Police are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. As part of their rush to get final important legislation to Governor Laura Kelly's desk before the conclusion of their legislative session was a state budget, which was approved by the legislature last week. The $25 billion budget was passed with bipartisan majorities, and it financed 5 to 10% raises for state employees and sidestepped a separate vote on the 93% raise for legislators recommended by a special commission. 67th District State Representative Mike Dodson spoke about the budget and some of the approved spending within it.
So I think what I would say is we've kind of reached a steady state on that, which gives you a little bit better path to predict what you're going to have in the future.
The budget also includes $15.7 million to finance deployment of the Kansas National Guard to the southern border near Mexico. The budget does not include money for Medicaid expansion. Dodson expressed some disappointment about that, once again calling the hearings on the matter this year a, quote, show trial.
I just don't understand that we've got just one or two people in the way, and unfortunately, they're the people that run the place.
Our full interview with Representative Dodson can be found at newsradiokman.com. And an upgrade was made at the Potawatomi County Commission meeting room recently. After many comments from the public suggesting at times it was difficult to hear the meeting dialogue, existing microphones were placed at each commissioner's desk as well as the speaker's podium. The county previously looked into purchasing new sound equipment, but after receiving a bid of $30,000, they decided to try using old equipment already on hand. Also, in anticipation of the commission expanding to 5 commissioners, additional desks were added and rotated to fit that space.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines. Coach Dan Hurley's Huskies delivered the latest of their suffocating hoops performances last night, smothering Purdue for a 75-60 win. UConn becomes the first team since 2007 to capture back-to-back national titles.
Maybe it feels a little bit better because it's like the last thing, knowing how great this team's been. We've taken, we've worn the everything shirt the whole year, and everyone in this organization gave everything so that we could win everything this year.
Tristan Newton scored 20 for the Huskies, who won their 12th straight March Madness game dating back to last year, and not a single one of them has been decided by fewer than 13 points. South Carolina's victory over Caitlin Clark and Iowa in the women's title game on Sunday had a preliminary audience average of 18.7 million on ABC and ESPN. The only sporting events in the U.S. to draw a bigger audience: football, the World Cup, and the Olympics. Manhattan High hosted a golf invitational at Manhattan Country Club yesterday. Wamego won it by a stroke over Manhattan, 321 to 322. Washburn Rule finished third with a 328. Emporia's Nolan Jacob was the medalist, winning the title by 2 strokes, shooting a 4 over 74. Wamego's Talon White finished third with a 77. Manhattan's Owen Cant took fourth with a 78. Have a great day. I'm Troy Coverdale.